Hello everybody, I hope you are doing well and welcome to the platform of CodeChef. So today we're going to solve the problem highest and lowest. The difficulty level of this problem is Cakewalk and there are no prerequisites whatsoever to solve this problem. Let's move on to the problem statement. Chef has provided the sequence of integers of length n arranged in an unsorted fashion. The elements of the sequence are ordered as A1, A2, A3 up till An. The task of the chef is to identify the highest and the lowest value among the given sequence, and it is assured that the sequence given contains the highest and the lowest value always. Please help chef finding the desired value. Okay, so in this question basically we are given an array and we are told to find the minimum and the maximum value. And it is always guaranteed that the minimum and the maximum value in the sequence exists. Okay, so let's move on to the approach how to solve this kind of problems. Okay, so as you know, the goal in the particular question is to find the smallest and the largest element of the array. So now, as you can see, our array is given in unsorted fashion. So let us take an example. Say I have an array 2, 3, 1, 4, 5 as my array. So what is the first thing that comes to your mind? If I sort this array, so my array becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as you know. So one thing that you can observe is the minimum element will be the first element and the maximum element will be the last element. So this will get us an answer in the time complexity of big O of n log n, as any stable sorting algorithm takes this much time complexity to sort an array. But what if we want to solve the code in the time complexity of order of n? So let's take the sample array again. Let's take 2, 3, 1, 4, 5. And what we can do is we can initialize two variables, say one which is current minimum, and let the initial value of this variable be my int maximum. So largest value as it can be, so I set it to int maximum, and the value of my current maximum, let it be int minimum. Okay, so now the idea is I'll keep on iterating to the array, and if the current element is less than the current minimum, then I'll update my current minimum. And if my current maximum is greater than if my current element is greater than my current maximum, I'll update my current maximum as the current element. Okay, so let me just write here current minimum, current maximum, and let me show you a step-by-step iteration. So consider 2. So 2 is less than my maximum. So my current minimum values become 2. And my 2 is also greater than the current, is also greater than int minimum. So the value of current maximum becomes 2. Now let me go to the next step, 3. So 3 is greater than 2. So the value of current maximum becomes 3, while the value of current minimum does not change because it is not less than 2. Similarly, when I go to 1, my value of current minimum becomes 1. Then I go to 4. So the value of current maximum gets updated to 4 and the value of current minimum does not change. And similarly, when I go to 5, the value of current maximum becomes 5 because 5 is greater than 4. So similarly, as you can see, at the end of iteration, we have a value of current minimum stored as 1 and the value of current maximum stored as 5, which is the required answer. So now let's move on to the test cases. Okay, so let's just quickly solve this test case and move on. So our array is 3, 2, 7, 9, 4. Like as I discussed in the approach, my current minimum is initially int maximum and my current maximum is initially int minimum. Now as I go on updating, I take my first iteration in 3. So my 3 is less than my int maximum, so I update the value to 3. And similarly, my 3 is also greater than the int minimum, so I update the value of 3. Then I go to 2. Since my 2 is less than 3, so I update my current minimum as 2, but no updation happens here. Then I go to 7. So since 7 is greater than 3, my current maximum gets updated to 7. And since I go to 9, so my 9 is greater than 7, so the current maximum gets updated to 9. Then I go to 4. Since 4 is not less than 2, nothing happens on the current minimum. And 4 is neither greater than 9, so nothing happens on the current maximum also. So these values remain same. And we come to the end of the loop, so we get our final answer is 2 and 9. 9 being the highest value and 2 being the lowest value. Now let us move on to the coding part to see how do we code this. Okay, so let's understand the code for this particular problem. So firstly, we include the header files limits.h because we wanted to use int maximum and int minimum in the problem. Then we include iostream so that we could use cin and input the following variables. Then we simply initialize the variable n, take input, initialize an array of n and declare our current minimum and maximum as int maximum and int minimum as we discussed in our approach. Then simple iterating to the loop, inputting the array element, and then for every element of the array, we compare it with the current minimum, and if it is less than the current minimum, we update our current minimum to the element of array, and if our element is greater than the current maximum, then we update the current maximum as to the element of the array. And finally, we print our answer. Okay, so let's just see it on the test case of sample. So as we can see, we got the required answer. Now let me also show you the Python code for this particular thing. So in Python code, we also input the following things like n and array, and then we initialize our current minimum as float infinity and current maximum as minus float infinity. So float infinity is basically the replacement of int maximum for Python, and minus float infinity is the replacement of int minimum. Then we iterate through the array and we do the same thing. If I is less than, so we initialize this, and finally we print the particular answer. Now let's see whether the code works on the test cases of this problem or not. So as you can see, the solution got accepted. And now one thing that I wanted to point out was what mistake people make in this type of problem. So generally in C++ you should always look for overflow, and in this question the constraints are low. So integer would work, like the constraints are simply my array of I lies between 2 and 10 power 4, which comes in the integral range, and hence I have used int. Otherwise I have used some kind of data type like long log int. Also, one more thing to take care of is the value of int maximum and int minimum if someone is initializing should be not present in this range. Like it should be always the value of int minimum, like whatever value of the current maximum you're initializing, it should be less than 2 initially, and whatever the value of current minimum you're initializing should be greater than 10 power 4, because otherwise it would contradict with the algorithm. And rest all, I hope you liked the video. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.